Let's solve this DS question. We'll start with the question stem, then look at the statements. So here is our question stem. All of this information is about a certain two-story apartment complex. There's information about the upper floor and about the lower floor and about the apartments that are there on each floor. It's about renting and what is the total rent collected and everything. So we'll read this and translate it slowly. So first of all, it tells you that each apartment on the upper floor rents for 75% as much as each apartment on the lower floor. Now, if this information is for each, and each on the upper rents for 75% and so on, it actually tells you one thing, that each apartment on the upper floor has a fixed rent. It's a fixed amount. Similarly, it's a fixed amount for all of the apartments on the lower floor as well. That means there's no difference between any two apartments on the upper floor and no difference here between any two apartments on the lower floor. Now, if I try to visualize this information, then I am talking about which floor it is. So lower and upper, and then I am talking about the rent of one apartment. So rent per apartment, because this is for each, right? Now the information here was that upper rents for 75% as much as lower, which means if I take the rent for a lower apartment to be 100L, I'm taking 100 so that my calculations are easier, then 75% of this is 75L. That will be the rent of each apartment on the upper floor. So this way I have made use of the first sentence completely. Now as you read further, it tells you something about the total monthly rent. It's 15,300 when rent is collected on all of the apartments, which means I don't know as of now how many apartments I have on the lower floor or how many on the upper, but if I collect this rent respectively from these floors, then the total I have is 15,300. So I need an expression for the number of apartments on each floor, right? So how do I do that now? Well, let's just suppose that it's X apartments on the lower floor and Y apartments on the upper floor, because I have no information. Then if I combine these two things together, then total rent for every floor I can get by simply multiplying rent per apartment by number of apartments. So if I do that, this is 100LX, this is 75LY, and my information about total monthly rent, I can translate that into an equation this way. So 100LX plus 75LY is 15,300. At this stage, I see it's three unknowns and it's a single equation. So I don't know what further I can do here, except I do see, an L coming out common. I can also take 25 coming out common. Let's do that this way. So I have 25L, which will leave me with 4X plus 3Y on the inside. I can do further simplification, cancelling out this and that, but I will not do so much processing until I know what I need to do, what kind of statements I have also. So if you read further, question is asking monthly rent on each apartment on the lower floor. Isn't that exactly what we took 100L to be? Which means you are interested in this. This is what you need to find. Now understand that you only need L somehow to find this. If you focus on this equation, let me mark this with a star, so equation star, either I should be able to find L directly through a statement, or my statement should give me 4x plus 3y, this expression. If I find 4x plus 3y, then I'll be able to put it into this equation, and then my only unknown will be L. So again, I'll be able to find L. That means either I need L directly from a statement, or I need 4x plus 3y from a statement to be able to call it sufficient. This clarity up front will really help you when you go into analyzing your statements one by one. So let me take this information, this equation, this here, and let's see what the statements give us.
If you found the analysis of this dataset helpful, then hit that like button so that other GMAT aspirants can also learn from it. And to stay tuned with such content, hit the subscribe button below. Now, to take your learning to the next level, we have put together a free trial in which you can experience content in all the sections tested on GMAT Focus Edition. For example, you can build your CR pre-thinking skills, you can learn how to approach statistics questions in graphics interpretation as part of DI, you can learn everything about linear inequalities as tested on the GMAT Focus Edition, and a lot of other content. The link for this is in the description. Now, let's get back to the question at hand.
And here we are. Statement 1 tells you that an apartment on the lower floor rents for $150 more per month than an apartment on the upper floor. So it is still talking about the per apartment thing, and this has given you a relationship between these two things here. Essentially, if I put this all in an equation form, then it says lower floor 100L is 150 more than upper floor, 75L. Okay, I have a single equation in a single unknown, and I'm sure this is going to give me L. I didn't even have to think about anything further. It directly gave me the information I wanted. And therefore, if I do my choices here, then since the first statement is sufficient alone, B, C, E are out. Now let's go further and look at the second statement. Alright, here's statement 2. It says there are 6 more apartments on the upper floor than on the lower floor. So this is comparing the number of apartments, which means this is a relationship between X and Y. So if I put this in an equation form, then let's see, 6 more on the upper, which means my Y is 6 more than X. This is it. Now see, I either wanted L directly from a statement, which I'm not getting here, or I wanted the expression 4X plus 3Y. Using this, can you find the exact value of 4X plus 3Y? You can't. See why? Even if I do the substitution, I use this value of Y, I'm still going to get the final thing in terms of X. As and when my X keeps changing, the Y will keep changing. So it's impossible for me to find this expression out. And therefore, coming back to the choices I have, I know the second statement is also insufficient, and that makes A the correct answer. Let's summarize this. We began by carefully translating all of the information that was given to us, and we nicely visualized it in the form of this table. Here, before jumping into the statements, we carefully understood that to be able to find out the quantity of interest, it was 2 things that we could get. So this inference helped us later on when we went into the statements. We knew how to quickly reject second statement, as I'll just show you. The first one directly gave you a single equation, single unknown, so we got the L as we needed. Second one here gave you a relationship between X and Y, but this was not the relationship that you were after, and you were so quick to do this because all of that upfront analysis had already been done. So that's the power of doing proper question stem analysis. If you're completely clear with all that's given, all that is needed, and how you are going to get what is needed, then doing statement analysis and then at least giving the final answer will always be easy.